Hey everybody, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Vevor thermal imaging camera. This camera was sent to me by Vevor for the purpose of this review, so you can consider it a sponsored video. So for the record, I have had this out of the box already. It came covered in a cellophane that was so reflective I couldn't get a video of it. So I took that off, and while I had it off, I took it out and charged it. So let's take it out and have a look at it. Oh, you know what? Let's pop over to Vevor's website while I'm opening the box and see what they say about it.
So here we are at Vevor's website. This is their product page for it. Vevor Thermal Imaging Camera, 240 by 180 IR resolution with a 2 megapixel visual camera, 20 hertz refresh rate, infrared camera with -4 to 1022 Fahrenheit temperature range, 64 gig built-in SD card, and rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It is currently $379.99, but it's $100 off if you register for an account. And I will have an affiliate link below, and thank you for using it, with a $10 off code as well. So you could get this for $269 if you wished it, and I'm pretty sure shipping is free. So let's take a look at it. Pinpoint the source of problems, help you discover problems with HVAC and firefighting, professional detection of electrical and mechanical systems, identifying air leaks, defective flashing, missing insulation, 240 by 180 resolution, measure and capture temperatures up to 1022 Fahrenheit. It has a video recording function, 4 image modes, and 7 color palettes. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I'm going to have to read more on it and figure it out. It can connect to a computer to transfer your information over, your pictures and your videos. Rugged, reliable, and compact. IP54 rated for protection against water and dust, and designed to withstand a 6.6 foot drop. Has an audio alarm and an LED work light. There's the resolution and temperature range and stuff we've already talked about. The fusion of 2 lights distinguished clearly. Thermal fusion, visible light, and picture-in-picture. Interesting. I'm going to have to play with those to know how best to use it. 11 hours of use, 360,000 photos, supported by your PC via either the memory card or the USB-C. And has has 2 LED lights in the front, an infrared lens, a visible light lens, a finger trigger for a capture button, a 2.8-inch screen. Oh, nice. It's got a tripod mount here on the bottom, I guess for unattended use, and a USB port and an SD card slot. Okay, that's pretty much it.
Okay, with that being done, here we go. Comes with a calibration certificate, a product certificate, a manual, which, believe it or not, has some nice images and pretty decent English, a lot of information about it, a lot of different ways to tell you how to make all the settings on it and how to use it. And then if you're in China, it has some Chinese instructions as well. We'll come back to this maybe. I know I need to take a look at it to figure this out. Also, in with the box was this kind of Velcro nylon sheath to keep it in. Comes with an SD card, micro SD card, 64 gigabytes. Comes with a USB cable. Is it USB? It is USB-C. Nice. And it comes with the camera itself, all packed really nice in a heavy box with foam all around it. So let's turn it on and take a look at it. To turn it on, you hold the power button, I think, for a couple seconds. And again, for full disclosure, I did this and I stupidly, through no fault of the camera and all the fault of my own, I got it stuck in Russian language, and it took me a while to figure out how to get it back. Okay, it says system is initializing. We'll go through it again. I did a reset on it, so hopefully we're going to walk through that again. Oh, look, there's a little sticky on it. Let's get that off. Okay, there is our language. Now, It's got 5 buttons, and this center button is the select button, and then there's a rocker around it for up, down, left, and right. This play button here plays any images that are stored in it. The flashlight button turns the flashlight on and off. The back button backs you out, and the power button turns it on and off. So it's asking what language, and I couldn't seem to get it to do anything, so I foolishly used the rocker to go down and tried that second one down and then got stuck in it. But apparently, yeah, there you go. Didn't do it. I did it right this time, amazingly enough. Okay, we're going to set the time and date now. So I'm going to go down to the year, and then that right? I don't think that was right. There's the year. Oh, I see. There's 2023. Now I'm going to use this rocker to go over to the day, and today is the 8th. Nope, that's not right. That's month. So month is 7. It's July the 8th. So July 8th. The hour is... It is 13:20. What is it? It is 13:41. So 13:41. And then I'm going to press enter on that. We go back to the top. Do I want it to display the time? Sure, let's display the time. Why not? All right, now we're going to go back. And now we're in the main menu. I'll show you how to get to that later. In the main menu, we have measure parameter, and that is the emissivity. And I'm not sure what emissivity means. The temperature is the ambient temperature and the distances which you're taking it. And I'm sorry to you guys outside of the US, but I'm going to be changing this over to imperial units because I still have trouble figuring out how to translate Fahrenheit into centigrade and back and forth. I've never quite gotten comfortable with that. Distances, yes, but the temperature, not so much. So I'm going to go to temperature unit, and I'm going to change it to F. I can also change it to Kelvin or Celsius. And back. So let's see what else we got. Temperature scale, now that we're in a temperature I'm familiar with. So -3 to 332 degrees Fahrenheit, or 212 to 1022. So you have to know the range you're going to be working in. And high-low alerts, right now alerts are set to off, but you can set alerts. So I suppose if you set this up to monitor something, you can set alerts in case you don't have to be looking at it. I'm assuming that's what it is. Photo setting is just auto save on or off. Temperature units we just saw, date and time we saw, language we saw, display brightness is high, medium, or low, and I'm just going to leave it on medium. Auto power off. Right now you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, and it's set to 20. I'm going to go to 5 on that for now because I'm not doing any kind of unattended monitoring. And then system settings, we can get device information, factory reset, or format the SD card. Oh, you know, I didn't put the SD card in it, so let's do that. So it's going to go back again. There is our main screen. I am going to power it off and put the SD card in it. Hang on. To power it off, you just hold the power button down, and then it very unceremoniously just shuts off. So at the top of this, we have a rubber boot that has the USB symbol and the micro SD card symbol. So we're just going to pop that open. There we go. And we have the USB-C to charge it. You can also use the USB-C to transfer photos and video to your computer. And let's get that little card in there. There it is. And let's see how it goes. I don't know, let's assume it points forward. Does it? I was right, it does. Okay, there we go. Card is in place. Rubber boot's back on. So we have our screen, our rubber boot, all our buttons. We have a trigger switch in the front, which I think just takes the photos. It might do something else, I'm not sure. We have 2 LED flashlight lights, and then we have whatever else it takes to work. Oh, and I got a fingerprint right on the very front of that, don't I? There we go. That's better. And thankfully, there is a tripod mount at the bottom as well, so you can mount it on a tripod for those unattended monitoring sessions. Okay, so I have a running Toshiba notebook here, and it's one which was brought to me to repair a broken screen. I don't know if you can see it here, but the screen's broken, but it still runs otherwise, and they really haven't wanted to fix it, so it is running and up to temperature. So let's kind of get a look. I've got to see. So here is the back of our Toshiba notebook, and of course I do have the back of it off, exposing the circuit board. The CD-ROM drive is out of it, and as you can see, the hard drive looks like our hottest spot right in here. This, under this block, is the main processor. This dark blue line, that is the heat pipe, and then this more orange part there is the radiator, and this dark blue spot here is the fan, which is not running, and there's a little circuit board right above it. I have all the temperature spots off right now, so let's start by turning on one of the hot spots. So we're going to go back into measurement mode by pressing the center button. It's the little crosshair icon, and we're going to turn on the center spot. And now you'll see my temperature appear up above, and now wherever I put that center spot, it's going to tell me what the temperature is. Now we can also go right back into measurement and turn our hotspot on. So now you'll see that little kind of roaming red crosshair, and that will stay on whatever our hottest spot is. You can also go back into measurement and turn on the cold spot, and that will be the little green, which you can see is all the way off to the right hand side, because there's nothing in here that's very cold, and it'll roam all over. It'll stay away from the hottest spots, of course, because that's what it does. And now you can see up above we have the center spot is the largest reading in the upper left. Then we have the max, which is the red icon, the red crosshair, and then we have the minimum, which is where the green crosshair is. And I can turn them all off. I can turn them on and off one at a time, whatever I like. And then the reading in the upper left, reflects what we're looking at. So as you can see, this computer, has it gone back off on me again? This computer, the hard drive, honestly looks like the hottest spot at about 109 degrees. This little circuit board up here is about 93, 94 degrees. Got a chip right here that's kind of warm at 93. We got another chip over here that's up around 96, 97. And it's pretty obvious from the picture which spots are the hottest. The brighter the yellow, the hotter it is. It gets down into the warmer oranges and then into the blues, the cooler it is. So I find that pretty interesting. This would be a pretty good way to see if you have an overheating component on a computer motherboard and which one it is. Unlike, a non-contact thermometer, one glance at this screen, even with all the readings off, is going to tell you where your hottest spot is. So while we're here, let's take a look at our view modes. So if I press the center button again, and then one left of view mode, we're in the normal IR mode now. And then there is a fusion mode, which is kind of a fusion of the IR and the visible light. And then the next one over is a picture-in-picture, which, while I find that interesting, that might just be to give you some peripheral vision to get a better idea what you're looking at if you're in a dark place. And then we have just the visible light mode. And then we have something called alignment, which I have not yet figured out what exactly is. And then one more click and we go back to IR mode, which I think is where most of us is probably going to be using this. Also, while we're here, let's take a look at the different palettes. Again, we're going to press the center button and we're going to use the rocker to go over where it says palette. And the default palette seems to be this one called iron. If we go all the way to the left, we have a grayscale called white hot. The next one over is another grayscale called Black Hot. Then we're back to the iron, and then we have lava, and then we have rainbow, and then we have rainbow with high contrast, HC, I think, and then red gray. And I'm not sure exactly when you would need these different palettes, but you know, it's got them here if you need them. Okay, let's take a look at the photo and video modes here for a second. So underneath your index finger is a trigger button. If you press it once and quickly and release it, it offers to save a photo. And there it is there. And the default mode is to ask you to save it. And you can set it so it just auto saves, but that's what the picture there is going to look like. If I want to save it, I just press the select button and the photo is saved. If I hold the trigger down for a couple seconds, then I get video mode, and I think maybe you can see down here at the very bottom, you can see the counter going up, and it's counting up. And again, to stop it, you squeeze the trigger again, and it stops it, and then it offers to save it. And again, press the center button to save it. If you don't want to save it, you can use the rocker to go over to the arrow, or just press the arrow button, and it's gone. So one thing a camera like this might be real valuable for is trying to determine heat and cold loss in your home. It is right now about 110 degrees out where I live, and the air conditioner just shut off about 2 minutes ago, and you can see the AC vent is still sitting up there at about, can't read it from where I'm looking, maybe 62 degrees. That's one thing I think that could be improved a little bit. When you get into the really hot areas, you can't see the temperature reading in the upper right. Now, possibly changing the palette from, to like a reverse palette would make that area a little bit more visible. Here's my Keurig coffee pot, and you can see right now, it's like putting out 111 degrees, 112 degrees in a room I'm trying to keep cool. So that would be something you definitely want to shut off. Here is my window now. This is a double pane window, but it has an aluminum frame, and you can see the heat level of that aluminum frame. That aluminum frame's 110 degrees, where the double pane glass itself is only 87. And you'd be able to see leaks pretty easy. You can see hot spots up in here. This window's really, I think, sealed pretty darn good. Most of that bright spot you're seeing is the aluminum frame. So yeah, I think for trying to solve why your house isn't staying warm or isn't staying cold, having something like this would be a huge help. So let's take a quick look at a 3D printer with it. Don't know if you can see it there, but I have my 3D printer preheated to a temperature for PETG filament, which is a 235 degrees Celsius hot end temperature and a 70 degrees Celsius bed temperature. So I have changed the thermal camera to not only read in Celsius, but also I had to change the scale upwards, because that was going to be 235 was going to be beyond what the lower scale could read. So where's the printer screen says 70 degrees, actual 71 and 235, and we're looking at the bed here, and it is 69.7 in the center, and we get out toward the outer edges. And of course it's got a 2-inch square heater. It's not even that big, and it's directly in the center. So of course the solid aluminum bed is going to be cooler out near the edges. It's funny, it's colder out near the rear edges than it is out in the front. Huh, interesting. Wouldn't have thought that, but I've never thought to check. Let's take a look at the hot end. The hot end is reading, it's set to 235. The printer screen is showing it at 235, and raise it up a little bit more. Now this thermistor in this printer is right in the heat block, and that's what I'm looking at. So it's actually telling me we're quite a bit above the 235. It's showing me 249, 248. That's quite a bit above what I have it set to. Let me grab a non-contact thermometer and let's see what a non-contact thermometer says. We'll see which one is correct. Here is my old Oakton temp tester. Let's see if it will give me a reading there. Okay, my Oakton, I don't know if you can see it from there. The hottest spot it's showing about 247 is about the hottest I'm seeing, and we're showing 246.4. So yeah, the thermal camera agrees with the Oakton temp tester, so it's the 3D printer readout that is incorrect. So it is actually 10 degrees hotter than what the printer is set to and what the readout is showing. So a little bit of calibration is in order for this printer, I believe. One thing I want you to keep in mind is I am using a fixed focus action camera to record the thermal imaging camera screen, and it's kind of closer up than it's capable of focusing. So the screen on the thermal camera is actually sharper than what you're seeing. So keep that in mind, and I will also show you some of the photos and videos that the thermal camera itself can. So I just want to give you all an idea what this looks like in a car. You got to forgive me, I waited till the sun kind of went down a little bit. It's 8 o'clock out and it is still 107 degrees. So let's take a look. There's an AC vent. You can see the cold spot goes right over it, 53 degrees. We haven't been running for more than a few minutes here, but still blowing pretty good for something sitting and idle and only been on a few minutes. 45 degrees. Inside a spot in the car is where is that down there? That's right over top of the climate control, 136 degrees. Let's go look under the hood real quick. So headlights are on. There's the grill. There's the upper radiator hose and the AC compressor. These dark blue lines, these are the air conditioning lines. They're really cold. And we have the exhaust intake manifold. Oh God, it's hot out here. Exhaust and intake manifold over on this side. And that's pretty much what it looks like when you're looking at a running engine. Hope that gives you all a pretty good idea of what you can expect from this if you're using it for automotive work.
So I have plugged the camera into a USB port on my computer. If you don't like that idea, you can always just take the camera card out and put it into a card reader. And this is the digital image folder on the card. And you can see that it has a couple of JPEGs on it, one movie, and then two files that end in .irg. And it seems to me like every time it takes a photo, it saves it in JPEG, and it saves a companion file in that .irg format, and I'm not sure what that is. I can open it up in Notepad, but nothing else will display it. So not sure why it's there. Worthy of note is it seems to be 2 to 3 times the size of the JPEG picture file itself. It saves movies in .h264 format, which is just, I think, MP4 with a different compression on it. Windows Media Player will show it. You might have to tell it to specifically because it might not be associated on your computer, but it will open it. So let's take a look at the photos. And as I mentioned before, this is just a screenshot. So don't expect any gigantic high resolution photo because you're not going to see it. This is 100% right here. If I go to, that's 194%. That's 313. So you can go to 300%, and they are still pretty clear. So that's one of them. You'll notice on this one, I have the center hotspot turned off that would be in this middle, and its large reading up in the upper left for temperature is also missing because of that. And here the computer had not completely heated up, and the hard drive was not that hot, and the hottest spot on it was that chip to the upper left of the main processor, probably the north bridge or south bridge. And then the next one here, I had turned the hotspot on. Let's just get both of these side by side. There we go. So the one on the left is the next one. You'll note that I had turned the center hotspot on, and I now have high, low, and the center reading in the upper left-hand corner. And by now the hard drive heated up to the point where it became the hottest thing on it. So I think that's pretty good. I like having the photo with all that information on it, including the timestamp. So that makes me pretty happy. Let's take a look at that video. Now, as I said, this is an H.264. Any MP4 player will open it. You may have to associate it, and you can also just change the extension to .mp4, and it should open it. And it might be the easiest way to do it. This was my Jeep Grand Cherokee engine, and as you can see, there is no information on the video screen. So all of the temperature readings, the timestamps, all that is missing off of it. So this seems to me to be and also notice there's no image stabilization. We've gotten spoiled with image stabilization. Notice that it shows everything clearly as to what's hot and what's cold. Those blue lines on the left of the screen are air conditioning lines, and even on the hot day they're stone cold. So pretty easy. If you set this up on a tripod and some type of a thermal event happened, you would absolutely see it in this video. You might want to set a visible camera up too at the same time, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on both thermally and visually. But that's actually pretty decent, I think. Would be nice to have the temperatures and the hot spot, and the temperature spot readings on it, but guess we can't have everything, right? One thing to notice is that this is an 80-second video, and it's 38 megabytes. And if my math is correct, 38 megabytes for 80 seconds on a 64 gig card, and we should be able to get about 37 hours of video on that card at that compression and resolution. You know what? It's been a long time since I've gotten out of high school, so if my high school math failed me there, just tell me down in the comment section below.
So what's my final opinion on the Vevor thermal imaging camera? Well, I have to say that I do really like it. It's got a super nice rubberized outer cover on the front and the back. It seems to be protected well against drops. You can see I've dropped it multiple times and it landed down here on the handle area, and I dropped it once and it landed up here somewhere. So it has taken all the abuse, unintentional of course, that I could give it, and has survived. I have probably had this, I'm guessing I've had this on 3 to 5 hours, and the battery still shows 3/4. It was plugged into the computer for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes while I made that clip about the pictures and videos. The buttons all have a nice tactile feel. They're all rubberized. I like how the screen and the front are guarded. The trigger works nice. You got to watch out you don't squeeze it accidentally, but to really find something wrong with this, I would have to nitpick. I wish the videos weren't stretched. I wish they had the temperature spot information on them as well as the time, but I guess we can't get everything in a single device. I was going to complain about when you're looking at something really hot in the upper left-hand corner, the bright yellow blanking out the temperature readings, but you know what? You can change the palette in 2 seconds on that and cure that issue. So that's not a problem there. The amount of video you can store on a card is really excellent. I really don't have any other complaints about it. It's amazing how much you learn just by pointing this thing around your house and your shop and just see what's producing heat that either shouldn't be or producing way more than it should be. And hot spots in different things, and cooling systems on computers, and heater and ventilation, things like that. It really is an amazingly useful tool. So I highly recommend this. I think you'll have as much fun with it and learn as much from it as I will, and it will be a useful tool in your arsenal as well. So thanks again to Vevor for sending this out. Thanks again to Vevor for supporting my channel. And thanks to you guys who also support my channel by using my affiliate links and watching my videos. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget, if you go to use my affiliate link to go to Vevor to buy this, don't forget to sign up for an account. It takes $100 off the price. And don't forget to use the coupon code that I'm going to put below that'll save you an extra $10. Thanks again, everybody, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.